Your struggles in the world. Differences in temperament is a determining factor of the qualities of family life. The goodness of fit between the parents and the child's natural temperaments decides how hard they have to work to get along. Challenges arise when an intense child is born into a family in which the parents or siblings do not function in the same way. Imagine being an active, exuberant, and emotional child in a family with parents and siblings who are slow to respond, or conflict avoidant, or being a sensitive child in an extroverted, thick-skinned household. Being the apple that fell far from the tree. In Far From the Tree, Parents, Children, and the Search for Identity, research Andrew Solomon discusses the differences between directly inherited vertical and independently divergent horizontal identity. Most children have at least some traits with their family. Tall parents are likely to have tall children. People who speak Greek raise their children to speak Greek. These attributes and values are passed down from parent to child across the generations through DNA and cultural norms, and are known as vertical identities. In contrast, when we have a trait that is foreign to our parents, it is referred to as a horizontal identity. Horizontal identities may include being gay, having physical disability, having autism, being exceptionally sensitive, intense, or being intellectually or empathetically gifted. Unfortunately, vertical identities are normally respected while horizontal identities are treated as flaws. Unconventional ways of being are often disparaged as illnesses to be fixed. The coping strategies a person adopts to survive in family homes where they do not fit in shapes their personality. For instance, you may have used humor to cope and you now adopt the class clown role wherever you go. If you have learned from your childhood experience that being vulnerable is not safe, you may not be able to put your guard down even when you want to. Perhaps as a child, you sought love by being helpful and compliant and are now stuck in the same pattern, struggling with boundaries and codependent relationships. These patterns may serve as coping mechanism for a while, but eventually they will help you from living a full life. Becoming the target of envy. While many books have been written about sensitive people, one subject that is little discussed is the potential and implications of being the target of envy. The psychodynamic of envy is subtle, and the person experiencing envy may not realize what is driving them. In fact, studies have found that most people are not consciously aware of their own envy. Furthermore, the stronger it is, the more likely they are supposed to suppress it. Since people typically only envy people who share a similar background, we are most likely to become the target of envy from our peers and siblings. Research has also found we are more likely to be envious of those of the same sex. It may come as a surprise that others might be envious of you, but as we saw in the last chapter, being an intense person and giftedness are related. Many intense people possess unique qualities or talents that others wish they had. For example, people who are not able to be forthright with their innermost feelings can resent you for your ability to tell the truth. Others may be envious of your intuition, creativity, or artistic capabilities. Envy happens whether or not it is rational or justified. Your siblings may envy you for your beauty or intelligence, even if you did not choose to possess these qualities. Your parents may make the situation worse by undermining you in order to equalize the power dynamic. Family members may reflect that you possess a certain kind of quality that is hard to pin down, but is best described as a penetrative spiritual acumen. They may have sensed this in you since you were little, feeling intimidated by your powerful presence. Adults in your life may find ways to shut you down. They might ask you to be quiet or suggest you keep your head down or keep your thoughts and positive feelings to yourself. It is okay to not fit in. Embracing your nonconformity is potentially the most profound and powerful mental shift you can make. All your life, you have tried to fit in, but what if what your deepest self needs is authenticity rather than false belongingness? You might have spent your whole life thinking there is something wrong with you for being different. But what if you are an inspiration? We no longer live in homogenous tribes and villages, and exposure to diversity is inevitable. By honoring your idiosyncrasies and demonstrating self-acceptance, you are allowing others to do the same. Perhaps your seat in the world, however much your fight is indeed on the fringe. You can find tremendous peace and relief in coming to terms with the fact that you will never quite fit in a conventional setting when it comes to social norms and what the majority does. It is undoubtedly challenging to be a nonconformist, but just because the majority and authorities reject you does not mean there is something wrong with you. You are different, yes, but that doesn't make you bad, wrong, defective in any way. You will be misunderstood and sidelined, but that still does not mean your values and the way you are inferior in any way. Honing the skill to survive other people's judgments is an ongoing practice. It involves you learning to stay grounded in self-love, your core values and beliefs, and to have an inner circle of those who see and accept you. Sometimes, though, not always, the price of being authentic is to accept that you cannot please everyone. You may attract toxic envy, negative projections, and criticisms. However, if your number one goal in life is to play it safe, you may just stifle your own potential. Before you shrink your soul and are at the mercy of others' acceptance, be clear about what is truly important to you. Life is finite, and at the end of your time, only a handful of people will matter. Do you have to exert energy pleasing everyone on your path? Perhaps you have never felt at home wherever you go, but your true home is not your biological family, the small town you were born in, nor the big city you live in. Your true home is not a particular person, nor group, nor place, but the moments of meetings when you intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually connect. It lies beyond the physical, the biological, or what you can see. It is when your soul aligns with a piece of writing, art, or music, and when you are inspired, transformed, elevated. It is when you download materials from a source bigger than yourself, and when you express yourself freely and unapologetically. Becoming okay with not being normal initially brings grief, but alongside your sadness, there is an undercurrent of relief. Finally, you can stop trying to be what you're not, and gone is the burden of false impressions. With a new slate, what might life bring when you are just being you? What people, possibilities may you attract now? It is only by reclaiming your true self can you embark on a path to find true belongingness, where you will be accepted without having to pretend and shine without fearing retaliation. It is time to allow your emotions and interests to run free range. Let yourself fully appreciate your abilities, accept your unique interests, and allow yourself to try to be at home. You will never be homeless, exiled, or betrayed if you can find your true home from within.